Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Merry stupid o'clock. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual disclaimers and a little bit of a rant. So, I got a letter yesterday in my email from the landlord that because it's stupidly freaking hot, apparently we have to keep the freaking thermostat at 75 all the time. Yeah. Yeah. I live out here in freaking Missouri. We not only have to deal with over 100 degrees in temperatures, we're also dealing with extreme humidity alongside it. And their solution is, well, just make sure you keep all the lights off and block out the sun and minimize your physical activity. Bitch, I exercise constantly. All the time. All the time. But I have to minimize my activity today to adjust myself to the fucking heat before I can get back to my regular exercise schedule because they can't be asked to get a new freaking air conditioner. I pay well over $700 a month for this place. Really? Sorry, rant over. Now, folks, we are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, like I said before, but now the disclaimers. In the link in the description box, you're gonna find a link to the article the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, where they interviewed over and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the quote-unquote treatment program at the JRC. In fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much that they threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused. So, folks, if they are going that hard on a non-for-profit that doesn't even bring in $10,000 a year in revenue, there's something in there they don't want you to know. So read it and share it on all your social media. You're going to see their public statement on the matter as well, and you're also going to find the GoFundMe. So we are crowdfunding them just in case the JRC has the balls to see through their threat. We also have links to the Agape boarding school situation, a situation where over 19 lawsuits have been brought against the school that range things going all the way back to the 90s. They are accused folks of abuse, sexual abuse, starvation, and torture. Please go to those links. You're also going to find the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? It is 4:25 a.m. in the morning. I am pissed off and not awake, and I be cranky. So, if I stumble over my words, folks, apologies in advance, all right? Okay, so going back to where we left off yesterday morning, 96. JRC has a policy modifying contingencies due to the special pleading of students. Okay, we do not understand what this statement is referring to. JRC, you don't understand a lot, including the numbers that show the success of person-centered planning. You want to cast it off as a theory that doesn't work in application. I like to point to myself as case and point, okay? I am a product of person-centered planning. I have lived on my own bar a year and a half, since I was 19 years old. I have maintained a job through the majority of that time. I know how to cook for myself. I know how to integrate and work out in the community when needed. God, I've been an advocate publicly and privately for years. Apparently, person-centered planning has done something right. And if you want to sit there and say, but Tiffany, are you really the severe case, though? Autism with OCD tendencies, post-traumatic stress disorder, and anxiety disorder. You tell me. You tell me. We also have others who've been on the person-centered planning who are not unlike the population the JRC serves, and it has worked brilliantly for them as well. Yes, I do have numbers to back that shit up. But moving on. Nowhere does JRC have such a policy. Contingencies are modified based on the data and the students' expressed preferences, not the pleadings of the students. What do you think pleading is? Really? I swear to God. But if a student expresses a preference and it goes against their contract, do you listen? No. God. Alright. This one's going to be a little bit lengthy, so we'll kind of go into it a little bit. Part of the treatment program for students involves deliberately setting up unfair or mistaken directions or decelerative application skin shock with a GED device consequences for student. The student is expected to handle these unfair situations successfully and not plead or appeal to a psychologist or clinician regarding his or her treatment. In this instance, where the student pleads to the psychologist or clinician, there are consequences imposed on the student. This is the bizarre behavioral lessons, folks, that we've gone over before on this channel. But let's see what bullshit they have to say for themselves, shall we? I feel a rant coming. The review team demonstrated a complete lack of understanding of JRC's treatment systems shown as programmed opportunities or programmed ops. Oh, here the fuck we go again. You just don't understand. I could go to a common person on the fucking street, JRC, and propose what you propose, and they would look at me like I had 3 fucking heads, okay? No logical human being with 2 brain cells to rub together are going to think that your behavioral lessons are sane. No person thinks it's a good fucking idea. Even the most diehard ABA supporter is going to think it's okay to grab a student by the scruff of their neck and threaten and traumatize said student in order to force a behavior so that you can shock them, and if they refuse to comply, shock them. Okay? God. In a programmed opportunity, a stimulus is presented to a student that might trigger some inappropriate behavior. JRC is teaching the student how to respond properly to the stimulus and how to eliminate previous learned response, such as active violence, when presented with same stimulus. When somebody threatens me with violence, I respond with violence. Oh, how horrible. How horrible of me to defend myself. No student has a programmed opportunity in which the student receives an undeserved GED application, nor is that stated anywhere in the program or policy. This is blatant misrepresentation of what the visitors read. No, it's not. They're fucking lying to you. Do you hear this shit? You hear this shit? Are you actually accusing the New York Department of Special Education of lying, JRC? They're not misrepresenting anything. Anything. In fact, it is in your own fucking materials that your bizarre behavioral lessons will torture them if they do and torture them if they don't, in order to quote you, teach them to not do a bad behavior. Tell me something, Karen. If I am punished if I do, and I'm punished if I don't, what does that teach me other than the world is fucked, and especially me? What does that teach us? It is torture for torture's sake, because if we give in to the impulse, we're tortured. If we do not give in to the impulse, we are still tortured for being non-compliant. And that is from your own goddamn materials. We are damned if we do and damned if we don't. But they're lying to you. That's not what really happens, really. JRC, this is why they don't ask you shit. Because this right here. Because of this right fucking here. You're going to justify grabbing a student, traumatizing the hell out of them. And if they respond in a more than understandable and logical way in regards to screaming, reacting with violence, trying to get the fuck away from you, you punish us. If we don't give in to that behavior and we act like a catatonic robot, you still punish us. It is not a misrepresentation, JRC. What it is batshit insane. I have talked with other professionals in the field, including psychologists and psychiatrists, who deal with consumers and patients who are just like your population. They think it's batshit. Because it is. There is no justification for these behavioral rehearsal lessons. None that makes any coherent, logical sense in any medical setting. And I'm already against the fucking medical model. When that medical model, which is a systematically ableist system, even tells you that what you're doing is fucked, you might want to think about that for 2 seconds. There is no defense, JRC. There is no defense. None. None. And on that, and let's not forget to mention, folks, that what New York said happened is backed up by the testimonies of several former JRC students. But again, everybody's lying but the JRC. We just want to misunderstand. We just want to pick on them. We're the bully, you see. We're the schoolyard bully for daring to question their psychotic program. And on that note, folks, I'm going to close out this morning. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'm going to go use brain bleach now. Bye-bye.